Homeschooling is educating your child or student, as I like to refer to my children as when we're in class, at home, in a home setting, opposed to private or public school.
Homeschooling is when parents or guardians are the ones who are directly responsible for the education of the children. So as opposed to the children going off to a school, whether public or private, for other adults or administrators to be the one who are overseeing their curriculum and their instruction. With homeschooling, it's the parents who are taking on that role, and they are the ones who are choosing whether or not their children are part of a group or, again, directly learning from them and the curriculum that they have chosen for their children.
I choose to homeschool because I believe that God has led me to do this for my children, to educate them at home. There are a number of subjects that we study at home that they wouldn't be able to spend as much time on if we had a full-time public or parochial or private school education going on simultaneously.
Hello, my name is Cheryl Dove. I am a mom of 2 boys and the wife of Gary Dove. My sons are 10 and 4, and my background is I have an electrical engineering degree as well as a business analyst background. I recently decided to homeschool my children. This is our actual first year of homeschooling. I wanted to have more input into the educational process, and I saw that there were a lot of things that were not necessarily possible in the more traditional classroom of making learning relevant and real world for children, as well as the opportunity to influence and expose my children more to our belief system and our family's belief system.
The reason I made the choice to homeschool is because number one, I always felt that I should be home with my children. I believe that even before I was blessed with children, that it is the responsibility of a mother to be the primary teacher for her children. And I also, with looking at the educational system and the schools, the whole atmosphere, things that children are exposed to, I chose to homeschool because I didn't want that for my children. I wanted to be the one who was directly overseeing what they were learning, how they were learning, what they were exposed to.
My name is Sabrina Boyd. I am a wife of 14 and a half years. I have 3 children, 7, 9, and 4. My decision to homeschool was not necessarily a conscious decision, but I think it was a natural outlay of who I am. Once I did decide to get married and become a parent, my belief systems, my foundation of who I am just came into play. I've always believed that the primary years from birth up through roughly age 10, those are the foundational years for children. I think those years are most important to their educational development, their social development, their development of their faith system, and just development of who they are. And my husband and I, as we talked and embraced the idea of becoming parents, we felt like that was the best way for us to lay that foundation for our children.
My work history, in my professional life, so on and so forth, so-called professional life, I did administrative assistant work. I worked in a hospital for a long time, maybe about 10 years before I began homeschooling. Also worked as a doula, which is a birth assistant, and a midwife assistant. Also taught parenting courses.
I used to work in corporate America as an internal auditor, as an accounting supervisor. I went to Tuskegee University where I got my accounting degree.
My level of education is I have a bachelor's degree in nutrition and food science. I'm presently working on Master's of Arts in Teaching, and I have done a few graduate courses before. And I don't feel I'm wasting my talents. It just so happens, we'll say just so happens for me, because I believe that one of my talents is teaching and education. And so it makes sense that if I'm going to be teaching anyone and having children benefit from my talent of teaching, that my children should be the primary ones to benefit from that, as opposed to me handing them off to someone else to teach while I'm, teaching others. There are some times when I consider that, wow, yeah, we could be better off financially if I were to put them in public school, which is free. And then, of course, by earning a full-time salary, we would definitely be a lot better off financially. But the benefit, or I should say the liability, or the negatives don't match up in terms of we may have a better income as a family, but I'm not sure that my children would still be as excited about learning. I'm not sure that they would not be picking up a lot of negative habits and just being just falling or succumbing to a lot of the negative ideals that are unfortunately taught in some schools. So for that reason, the thought comes and it's sent running.
I could make a whole lot more money than the salary that we've come up with for me as a stay-at-home mom, but there is no price I can put on my children's value system, on their educational system, and on them in general in developing who they are. I think the benefits and the experiences that they get to have at home and the way that we get to shape them, you can't put a price tag on that. And once that opportunity is gone, you cannot get it back. You can't pay for it back. You can't buy it back. It's just a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Having been an engineer for professionally for over 20 years, it is certainly true that I was making a lot more money as a corporate employee, but I truly believe that as a mother and a wife, my first duties are to be a good mother and a good wife, and I know that there are a lot of hurdles and challenges that will face my children as they grow older, and it's very important to my husband and I to try to gird them up and prepare them to be strong citizens, to be able to do anything that they put their mind to, and to have the right belief system to make the best choices for themselves. And
I choose working from home and educating my children above working in a professional vein, more because I see that my children love it. I see that my family is more comfortable with this at this point. I see that I'm more comfortable.
Being able to spend that one-on-one with your children and knowing when they are ready to move on and when they aren't. Just a few weeks ago, I was working on division with my daughter, and we hit a roadblock. I felt like I had explained it to the best of my ability. I felt like she was really trying, but for some reason we couldn't go forward. So we decided to take 2 days off from math. And on the third day we came back to it, and it was just like a light switch. She got it, and we were able to move on.
I don't think it's demeaning at all for a woman to be home. I think it's I mean, we all, depending on the perspective that that families choose to live by. I mean, for me, I think it's the woman's primary responsibility to make sure that the home and the family are kept in a certain kind of way, and anything that's taken away from that, and again, for some it's a job outside of the house, that needs to be readjusted, so that again the children, the family, the nutrition of the family, all of that I think is the top priority of the woman in the home.
If I were going to say anything else in closing about homeschooling, you know, a lot of people think, oh, homeschoolers are weird and the kids turn out weird and it's an odd community. And I certainly don't feel that way. I have never met such a brilliant, well-adjusted group of children as I have through my years of being involved with the homeschool community.
I was in a professional job, or outside of the home, should I say, because this is a professional thing that I'm doing. When I was outside of the home, my time was split so much between all the things that I was doing, my schedule at work and, you know, my own career and so on and so forth, that it was hard for me to be able to concentrate on, I feel as though is my main priority at this point, which is to take care of my home.